Okay, so I'll just recall from where Ganesh Bhaiya had last read. Okay. So last I was actually on traveling, so I could not be reading. But then Ganesh Bhaiya was reading from this side, from this page. So I'm just going to reread that part. Now, to the scientists who believe they are benefiting the world by producing chemical fertilizers, I suggest that the natural process of fertilizer formation is the only way to preserve Earth's fertility. Rivers carry and deposit unnecessary materials from the Earth's surface into the oceans, maintaining balance. Dense vegetation and forests on Earth's surface are crucial for this balance. Instead, we humans tend to create additional problems while attempting to solve existing ones. One problem cannot cover up another problem. Even if a minor problem is masked by a larger one, it remains unsolved. So, I would just like to recall one of the documentaries that I had seen, and in that documentary, this very paragraph is described very elegantly. It is about how the mountains are the preservers or the holders of material that is ready for uh, life on earth to exist, and how those minerals come up in the form of volcanic eruptions, and they are there in mountain forms. And usually what happens, the rain falls on these mountain sides, and the deposits of minerals are carried down from the mountain, and the useful elements from that is absorbed by the plants and trees that are growing around the mountain area or around the river where the water is flowing. And the rest of the dense materials, as it said here, uh, the unnecessary materials are taken back to the oceans. Now, obviously, this is a very rightful way of what actually happens. The mountains do stop the rain clouds, and the rain clouds do rain on the sides of the mountains. And see how beautifully everything is in line. And here in the very next line, it says, "This is how the earth's fertility can be preserved." So again, Babaji had this great vision or great clarity of how the natural processes are already functioning to preserve life on Earth. What we are trying to do is maybe due to some simple things like overpopulation in some areas, we created an artificial, or rather, there are some civilizations which created artificial food shortages. Be it the British Empire, they were diverting the foods at that time towards war-riddled areas, and I'm sure you must have read about how, um, I'm forgetting the prime minister then of the British Empire, but he basically created an artificial drought, and this obviously had a lot of impact on the Indians. And after that, it was it was decided that we do need a green revolution. So, as it said here, first the problem is created, and then to solve that problem, we create another bigger mask. The green revolution is one of them. So it was to mask the problem of food shortage, but the food shortage again was an artificial one. So definitely this is an because of hmm, how can I say it simply, the man or the delusion man creating artificial imbalance. So again, nothing can be said except that we need to have some sort of education, some sort of knowledge transfer so that we all considered as one human race. Until and unless that does not happen, we'll always have the issues. So I'll just yeah, read ahead. This is not a complaint or condemnation, rather, it is a factual account of past events and a proposal for reconsideration. It simply describes the current state and the urgent need for change. So, I think this lines itself, urgent need for change, is very crucial also, because what this means is that me and Shalini were discussing like what should we do? Like, do we need to save the earth first, or from from extinction or from catastrophe, or we need to educate the people? And we came to the conclusion that the delusion mind, or the delusion mindset, will always be doing the wrong things. And so the only answer is to educate, because we can do so much with our limited resources. And I'm sure we are not multimillionaires, or filled with a lot of resources and such, but if we look at it, if we go out and start planting trees, saving the earth, doing some sort of things that we are usually seeing that other people do, trying to change the way the environment is being treated, it will just create so much of an impact. But a lasting impact is when we are there as beacons for education, and the rightful education, which is the holistic way of looking at everything, which is coexistence, is what needs to be imparted. I think that is going to bring the lasting change. So, yes, obviously, urgent need for change, which also means that urgent need for education. That's what at least I think. Maybe we can have Neelam Bhavi is with us. Maybe you can have your say. What would be the this meaning? It simply describes the current state and the urgent need for change. So yes, we do know the what is the current stage. Sorry, current state of the earth and of the resources, mainly because that is what we are discussing here at this point, and of course the imbalance. So, what would be the urgent need for change in this case?
Yeah, namaste, Vidya.
Mm.
uh, See, we have been seeing that since there was an urgent need since Corona also, government and other people have been doing at their ends something or the other to conserve water resources, to recharge water resources, to have a cleanliness or a hygiene campaigns. But I think it is not fully uh, fulfill that kind of need, is because deep into the education or a lot of religious what do you say, the institutions, if they come together, I think it will have a mass impact, and it can be done. So of course, what you rightly said is it is also important that we have a change of the delusion mind with proper knowledge, or what we are having or what we are reading right now,
Mm.
but side by side, since it is also saying that it simply describes this current state and urgent need for change.
Mm.
So everyone has to be impacted and be involved into it, and this can be only done, I think, with some kind of regulations, as in all the societies have to be, all the institutions
Mm.
have to have some kind of guidelines that this has to be uh, a kind of you all have to have these things, you all have to do at this at your end, such things, then only it will have impact, I think.
Mm.
I know it can be a little forceful, or that kind of action by the government, but
Mm.
I think that's how it can be done
Mm.
very
Yeah. Yeah.
quickly.
Yes. The point is actually to be done quickly, and other point is to be done rightfully also, because I think even today the government has implemented waste management, in the sense it has dry waste and wet waste, in which the wet waste is usually the organically decomposable waste. But we still see that household people or households are not able to catch on to this. The truck does come with two partitions, but we still mix up everything and just, even the one who's driving the truck is not challenging us or not having sort of any disciplinary means, at least in where we are living. I don't know about the metros places and other cities, but I think this comes to the knowledge and the education of the masses. And some small things like the implementation of this waste management also is not going as to what it's supposed to be, because almost if you look at it volumetry speaking, just the small thing about agriculture waste is so much, like 60 to 70% of waste is kitchen waste, or waste which is food waste, or waste which is peels and all these kind of things. We are still not able to fixed, and it goes into landfills and it gets mixed up with these things and starts messing everything up. And then those nutrients are leaching away with the toxins also. So the landfills are also getting toxin, and yeah, the water bodies also get toxin because of the water content in that green waste. So yes, if in fact anything is fruitful, I think it's the way the people are changing, especially when the kids are taught something. They do change their ways, and I think we need, to put it bluntly, maybe we need very, very enthusiastic teachers or knowledgeable teachers, because the whole picture sometimes is not painted. And I know this from my schooling years. The science teachers are not able to connect with the sociology, or they're not able to connect with geography, and that sometimes is a big gap, I think, in the education system, because the child is learning all the subjects, but since he or she is not given the whole picture, or at least is fragmented. I mean, there are, periods and everything is segmented that way, 10 periods, 8 periods, whatever it is in a day, and the kid is just fragmented just from the day one from school. We need to have this kind of after that. It's going there. I mean, it's not completely foolproof the way the things are right now, but yeah, it is, I think, on its way, and everything is doing. There was a great quote by one of our principals when I was working before. And then she said, "Everybody is doing to the best to their ability." So now that sentence struck me, and it brought a lot of relief into my way of understanding. Is that because the ability is not there, in the human, or in the teachers, or in the colleagues that we have, because at that time I used to help out teachers in their digital work. There was just the era where we were transferring to handwritten exams to papers typed up in the computer, and which had some information in some sort of pictures or diagrams or graphs or anything like that. So we used to have these kind of papers typed by special teachers, and then these teachers could not type on the computer, so we had people like me who would digitize that work. So I was always in that place where I had to create the exam papers, and I was wondering, why do I get all this kind of bulk of work? And I realized that it's because everybody is doing to the best of their ability. So now the ability is not there that they can do it themselves. The ability is not there that they can digitize these things. And so that's why the blunt of work goes to other people. So I think, again, it comes to this only, that we have to increase the ability. Babaji always said that anyone can understand everything, and that is, again, I'm holding that sentence here and trying to sort of say that we can still put out this fire of extinction of species, climate change, waste management, all these kind of things can be eradicated tomorrow if everybody had the ability. So it's all about increasing the ability. I think we can say maybe sabki, uh, and just keep on missing the words, but maybe patrata is the right word it here. Kshamta to hai. Everybody has the potential, but patrata needs to be addressed. So maybe yeah, we need to work on that, right? Okay, so we have a new joinee with us, Mr. Praful. Uh, have you joined this class for the first time today? Maybe you can take an introduction. I'm not able to recall your attendance here with us before, so maybe you can just introduce. Praful Bhai, you're able to hear us?
Yeah, hi. Yeah, this is my first time joining here.
Okay, great. Yes, so just give a small introduction so that we can be on the same, like, we can have a sort of a friendly atmosphere, like an icebreaker. Like, how did you get to know about the group? And yeah,
Yeah, so
what
I've
you did.
been with Jeevan Vidya for quite a quite bit since 2023, and I did my 6 months adhyan at a choti last year,
Hmm.
and now I'm just sort of trying to see what all things that people are doing, and
Okay,
that's how I got to know about this group.
great, great, Badhiya. Okay. So, how do you get to know about the link? Like, is there a particular person that we can link you with, or you? I mean, how did you get to know about the link?
About
Yeah,
this particular class,
yeah.
yeah, from the Kutch group, from the
Okay.
Jan Samvad Kutch group.
Okay, got it. Okay, but yeah. So welcome. You are always uh, we are always open to questions and suggestions along the way. There is no restriction as such. You can just just maybe just unmute and ask your question and have your comment across anytime. We usually read as we are moving ahead. We keep on reading, and then when we find a particular point that is worth discussing, we slow down there, and yeah, that's how we are going. It's there's no such particular target agenda here. We are more into understanding first, and so that's how we are going ahead. You know. Okay, so I will read ahead now a little bit, and then we'll see if we need some clarification there. This proposal, in summary, aims to evidence all 10 activities of Jeevan in human tradition. It seeks to evidence understanding through consciousness development and value education. This involves knowing, believing, recognizing, and fulfilling. So, I'll just like to pause here. We usually say that the material order and the biological order are able to recognize and fulfill because they're able to recognize the other elements or the other entities, and they are able to fulfill their innate coexistential agenda with it, and that's how everything else is existing. Every other compound, every other molecule is existing in nature. I'm talking about the material order and the plant order. Um, Even the animal order can be considered into that, but the human order wants to be involved in knowing and believing also. So that's how the Jivan gets its true recognition and completion. And so this is highlighted here again. So this summary, this proposes a summary. So this is basically this book, what this line is saying. This particular book, Jivan with an Introduction, is a summary which aims to evidence all 10 activities of the Jivan in human tradition. It seeks to evidence understanding through consciousness development. So here we are seeing again where consciousness development is highlighted, and this again can be done through value education. So I think both of these are again uh, put into the spotlight that all the needs to be done is for the human order is for consciousness development. the activity thereof or entailing thereof will be of resolution for the with the material order and the plant order, the animal order, and of justice with the human order. So definitely conscious development through value education. Although it's written and value education, I would also say that it's only possible through value education. Yes, Nilamami.
Since a lot of people would see these videos in between, and if there are some new viewers, I think, Bhaiya, you should also uh, mention, I think, about conscious development and what in Madhyastha Darshan basically Jeevan is. Normally,
Mm.
Jeevan everywhere is told as soul, right?
Ah,
But here, what we say. So I think it has five things, that is mind, that is man,
right,
vritti, chitta, buddhi, and atma,
right.
comprising this, that comprises the Jeevan.
Mm.
And human is a combination of Jeevan and human body through which it will it evidences, understands, and is able to what do you say, validate it, pramanit karna hai na,
Mm.
further.
Yeah.
And also, so I thought, so conscious development, otherwise, yes, people, when we were studying, we had a separate lecture. I was in convent and we had a separate lecture called moral science,
Mm.
but moral science, it only said what is God and that kind of, so it didn't have any major role in conscious development basically,
Right,
and the value education that we are talking about.
right,
So I
right.
think I
So, in a nutshell, maybe you can also add to it. In a nutshell, conscious development, I think it's about knowing all the four orders and seeing that intrinsic part that everything has in coexistence. And now this development is like it's the development happens when we are in working with the 10 kriyas or the 10 activities that are said here, and those 10 activities of which only four and a half activities are being done. And this is because the Jivan is composed of Man, Vritti, uh, Chit, and Atman.
buddhi and atma.
Sorry, yeah. Man, Vritti, Chit, Buddhi, and Atman. So we are almost just dwelling with the recognition of what is Priya Hit Labh, what is likable, what is advantageous for us, what is hit means like beneficial to us in the sense that it is like healthy for us, and what is profitable for us. So we are only dwelling within these three realms, and these realms are the ones how we are as a human species trying to see everything around us. Wherever we see some things, we are relating with that vastu, as it is said, with that entity, and then we are looking at it with a priya hit labh, how it can be profitable to us, how it is likable to us, and how we can get a healthy point of view from it. So it's just these three point of views that we are seeing everything, and that is what is the problem is. So basically, the depth or the total Jivan's potential is not achieved, and that once it is achieved, then the consciousness is called to be fully developed, and we will be working towards I mean it will be like the knowledge is coming from the Atman and down towards the buddhi and the chit, and then you are acting according to that because you are connected with that consciousness, which is then again part of what is existence all about. And so you will be working with existence and with existence, as opposed to you becoming aloof and disconnecting from all the four orders, and you as a seer becoming as a consumer of everything around you. So that is basically what consciousness development, according to me, I think it is. And I think value education would be mulya shiksha, and that is again, if I'm not mistaken, the nine mulyas, and the education of those, how the recognition of seven relationships are fulfilled through the nine mulyas. That's what the value education is all about. Yes, Nilam Babi, if you'd like to add.
Yes, Bhaiya, you rightly have explained everything properly. Yes,
Ah,
true.
okay, बढ़िया. So this involves knowing, believing, recognizing, and fulfilling. We had just said this, that the human wants to uh, understand everything, and even if you have a lot of money, or even if you have a lot of pad or position, you would not be fulfilled. We can see that even in the current day and age, we are seeing that knowledgeable people, or sorry, rather achieved people of higher posts, they also don't have a good life, and they have been seen to be killing themselves at the end. That's what they are. They have this lacking in their own being. We have also seen people who have a lot of money, still they're not able to have a good life. There is still some lacking in them. They feel that they lack something. They are empty, and that's what's being said here: knowing and believing. So that's how the parampara, or the tradition, is formed. And again, this is again linked with environment, what kind of environment we are able to come up with for our peers, for our children. If the environment is rightfully woven, then what we will have is a tradition of Jeevans coming into that environment, getting acquainted with existence through people who are resolved, and then we will have decisions based on resolution, and decisions made which will depict harmony and coexistence with everything else. So yeah, this is very important. And as we started with this today's webinar, that we are supposed to identify our purpose as part of education, because this is the calling of the hour. Rather, it is almost an urgent need, because if we don't feel ourselves, if we are not um, fulfilling our obligation, in the sense that we have understood. So the question now remains, how much have we understood? If we have understood fully, then definitely we will be overflowing with information. So again, the purpose comes to us to find the least friction, and we need to focus on our own clarity, on our own growth in the sense of realizations, and our own growth of understanding. I think that is the most important part here. Mm, let's read ahead. The point of satisfaction for knowing and believing is awakening itself, which is evidenced by resolution, prosperity, fearlessness, and coexistence. So I just maybe jumped the gun here, and I just should have read this sentence also. So basically, this is what I was saying. The awakening itself will lead to, or that kind of environment, or that kind of tradition will lead to resolution, prosperity, fearlessness, and coexistence. So we are seeing how some words are just being repeated in this introduction itself, because it's almost like Babaji is trying to hammer these things in our head. And it is indeed working, because I am sometimes talking and I see myself speaking in a flow, and that this is because of the continuous hammering of all the facts, and point of unique realizations that we need to have when we are reading this book, or when we are reading this darshan, is that there is one meaning of awakening, or enlightenment, if I would add that word also. That is when a person is doing activities in resolution, uh, doing activities for the prosperity of the family, and in the process again for the prosperity of the society, and that again adds to the prosperity of the country and the whole of humanity. And the result for that sorry the resulting effect of that is fearlessness in the society, since everybody is not out there to hoard, to do the business, to be the cunning person, to be selfish. We are then automatically blessed with an environment which is of fearlessness. And again, coexistence is another result of it. Everything is in harmony, in coexistence. We are also adding to the existence the four orders, and we are indeed the part of it. As the plants adding to the animals and the material order, so do we add also to those three orders in more um, better designs, I would add, because we all have a brain, we all have the ability to imagine, we all have the ability to use our knowledge. Even we have this systems called technology. We have artificial intelligence now. I would just like to mention one thing, that some things that were designed in the laboratory before, and then they had to go through a lot of R&D, a lot of test samples being created. What is the right structure, what is the right matter to be used to make this particular spare part or anything of a car. I was just looking at this documentary, how artificial intelligence is able to design the same part within minutes, render its 3D outlook of how it will look. And then now there are 3D printers. So literally, you don't even need to make a die of something that has to be made out of heavy steel, so that you can pour some other low temperature metal into it, and then it will make that component that you want. But you can just directly print out these things using heavy metal alloys, or some sort of powder in that form, and it just prints out the 3D version of what you had designed. So from the drawing board to the design to the stage of implementation, the gap, which was maybe 6 months or even more than that, now these spare parts or these electronics are being designed at such a fast pace that you can just get it in overnight, if you have the right equipment, of course. And it's just showing how technology is going to play a very crucial part into uh, the word which we are seeing here is coexistence. I think it's not supposed to be taken lightly. Coexistence is about all the orders acting in harmony with each other, and the human have a special gift of imagination, of seeing everything from above. You obviously understand how the plants and animals cannot do that, but we have that ability. And so we need to have this sharpened towards coexistence and towards this knowledge of this darshan, because then we will start designing those kind of things and start designing those kind of products. I'm just also amazed how companies that are as big as Amazon delivering so many packages worldwide, but they have not come up with the ideal packaging material yet. They still use the same old tapes, they still use the same old boxes, they still use the same old bubble wraps and all these kind of things. But I think surely they must be having some sort of ideas, or they should have at least invented some sort of ideas with so much resources that they're disposable. Uh, they have to have this sort of in the pipeline. But let's see. I mean, as we go ahead with this this life on Earth, I am seeing that more and more things are being created for the waste basket. Uh, just a couple of days ago, I was looking at how even in India, the chikki, which is basically a sweet delicacy, it's made of peanuts and jaggery. Now it is packed in very thin plastic sort of wrappers. So like each wafer, it's like a thin wafer, supposed to be like made and then just kept in the simple utensils. But now, since the market demand is that that we need efficiency. We don't need to have so much of amount of it. So they are wrapped in thin plastic, these things, wrappers. And I was amazed that we are not able to, we are actually going in the reverse gear. We are using so much packaging material for such low amount of time duration. Like that chicky can be finished in less than 2 minutes, right? But then the wrapper survives for like 300 to 3 or 400 years, on the surface, if we just leave it on the sidewalk. So that is also another, because we are not thinking in the sense of coexistence. We are just thinking in the sense of what is profitable at this point. Maybe we can say that, or maybe we can just say that what is likable to us. We're just thinking in that sense. We're not seeing the whole picture, what and how this will affect the environment, how responsible we should be as creators of these kind of products, and that's how these problems are getting multiplied. So yeah, definitely, I would not buy those kind of products, and I'm sure that the audience who is cautious enough to understand what is the importance of coexistence, we do indeed have to have, every one of us have to have that sort of responsibility, that anything that we do is quite literally entangled with everything else. And I'm not been saying it entangled in the negative sense, but it is just the way it is. And so, as a responsible person, I think, or at least a person who is towards this kind of knowledge gathering, they should have that sort of eyesight, an eagle's eye. Okay, what is going to happen if I do this? Okay, this is going to happen, this is going to happen. So even the mindset of seeing 10 steps down the line of every action that we do can create a lot of like clarity within ourselves, and then we make a choice based on that, and that creates a ripple effect of positive or positive good out of that. So I'll just read ahead. If there is nothing else here, if there anybody wants to ask something, we can just unmute and ask. The point of satisfaction for knowing and believing is awakening itself, which is evidenced by resolution, prosperity, fearlessness, and coexistence. So we understood that. This itself is the evidence of realization. Therefore, every human can make their life meaningful based on realization. So, um, I think what this sentence means is that whatever the human is doing until now can be just the effect of not knowing about the future. And so the mankind almost is certainly stuck in the likable, profitable, and healthy priya hit labha, basically. And it's and that stuckness is getting stronger and stronger. More and more people are into the fear of tomorrow, and that's what is the cause of a lot of like, we can see how the news is riddled with evidence of so much corruption, because there is no sort of clarity of tomorrow. Everybody is in the rush to get the money, to get the resources in their names, land. Disputes are there, so many of them. We have so many of thefts in all sorts of service areas, and we are seeing that even the government is taking a blind eye sometimes into these kind of things. Even the government projects are also sort of not being as to par as they were before. I mean, I remember when we had some sort of road structures in the past, they were at least just single lanes connecting the villages, but at least they used to last. The amount of years they used to last was credible. But today we are seeing 4 to 5 lanes of roads, but still all of them have their potholes and all those kind of things. Even though the cars are not damaging the roads. Technically, the cars are going fast on the roads, so the roads don't have any sort of maintenance on them as such. The speed of the cars is going fast, so they should not harm the road in such a sense. But we are seeing that the roads are coming apart. So my point is that even the government is riddled with this kind of inefficiency or direct full right corruption because of this. lack of meaningfulness. And this again is again then also in the boil down to the people also. The people who have chosen the governments are again also, since they see the government is like that, it's like a blame game, the government is doing something out of corruption, the people see it, and the people see it, and then they say, if the government is doing it, we can also do it, why don't we do it, we let's get away with it. So it's like just like it's a old saying, but I think it's not right to say it right here, but I will just mention it for the understanding sake. Jaisa Raja Vesi Praja. So the way the king is, that's how the Praja means the public will be. So since the mindset of I think the Indian civilization is into the parampara of the Raja, of the king, that still set mindset is still there in a little bit. I mean, democracy has not come up to par as it's supposed to be. We cannot speak against chosen government as clearly or as fluently as to other countries, but we can clearly see that just how the government works, we as the normal public also are accepting the inadequacies of the government, and we are also saying कि, okay, ऐसे चलता ही है, that's how we keep on moving in life. We will also have two books, one is for through showing the government officials, the other book is for the black money, and all this kind of things keeps on happening. So it's almost like a blame game, everything is just like, if this happens, we'll allow it. Yes, yes, Bobby.
Yes, so recently that we all went for this Monteria Village Adhyan Bindu Evam Vikalp Satra for 7 days workshop, for which this reading had a gap.
Mm,
So in that, I would also request that people do go through these videos, because um, after introduction Jeevan Vidya Parichaya Shibir, Babaji said that this Adyan Bindu and Vikalp is the actual, you know, introductory session for the Jeevan Vidya, and in
mm,
this time Sombhaiya ji has been able to open
mm,
us as a Parmanu, as an atom, very, very nicely, very elaborately,
mm,
and the 10 Kriyas in that which this sentence now I'm able to connect after this workshop. It
mm,
says this itself is the evidence of realization. Realization here means is
mm,
sakshatkar.
mm.
So after the 4.5 uh, uh, what do you say, mm,
Activities.
activities
Mm,
of man vritti
mm,
chitta,
mm,
after that only we every human, then it says therefore every human
mm,
can make their life meaningful
mm,
by living
mm,
based on realization. Basically, till
mm.
now, what we were taught that realization, that is sakshatkar, happens to some
Chosen है.
knowledgeable wise person.
Mm,
तो हर एक को साक्षात्कार हो नहीं सकता है ना, उस तरह से
mm,
बताया जाता था, तो सब लोग अपने को पहले से वो कम समझते ही लेते, और
mm,
उस तरह से फिर वो विद्या, उस तरह से that kind of knowledge was not provided. So here now I am able to connect what was those 10 kriyas and sakshatkar, which how from four and a half activities of our jivan we have to go back to the 10 kriyas, and
mm,
those 10 kriyas will complete our understanding. So till now it is very difficult to have that kind of realization. Since we didn't have that realization,
mm,
it was
mm,
only fixed. That is what you rightly mentioned before, the priya hit labh,
mm,
the
mm.
likes dislikes. So of course priya के साथ अप्रिय साथ में ही होता है, the likes and the dislikes.
Right.
So hit के साथ ahit, which is beneficial and not beneficial, so everything that is into that vision. So
Dimension.
in our chitta, that is in our visualization, we only
Mm,
used to think about ourselves.
mm,
And since those four and a half kriyas just revolved to ourselves, that is, to ourselves means being as a body,
Hmm.
but we are a
Jeev Chetna.
knowledge entity.
Right.
So those other five and a half kriyas were not getting opened.
Hmm.
It was always said that only some wise person will get that, attain it.
Hmm.
But through this, we are able to see that every human being can achieve that realization.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Right.
it's a wonderful thing that, and this time, so I request, I just interrupted you was
Hmm.
that I think people should go through that also. Of course, this is the introductory thing to have what is Jeevan Vidya all about. But who
Hmm.
have already learned a lot of times this thing should definitely go through those videos. It will
Hmm.
help broaden their vision about understanding us. Thank you.
Yes. But yeah, so again, Nilamabhi mentioned that we are open. We were opened up to the Jeevan Kriyas and what was Jeevan, and that Jeevan is Saman. Every Jeevan is similar in its composition, and what it lacks is the basic Nyaya Dharma Satya. Like the focal point was Priya Hit Labh, and based on that we are circling, like if that's the right way, we are gravitated from profit and from what is likable and what is healthy for us. So priya hit labh, right? So that is what is the at the fulcrum at this day and age when the Jeevan is it Jeev Chetna is basically animalistic mindset. So now, when we say that now we are rising above that, so we are basically now going to be in those 10 kriyas where we are also going to surpass what we are actually feeling. So Priya Hit Labha is there definitely. So even if we go to Nyaya Dharma Satya, the Priya Hit Labh will also be under the umbrella of Nyaya Dharma Satya. This is very important. It's not that we have to think differently, but we have to think at a zoom out level. So that's what we are lacking the knowledge today, at least for the majority part of the humans on this earth, is that we are just having or this small umbrella of priya hit labha. At best we are looking at the priya of our family, of our society, at best, not nothing more than that. So we have to expand the umbrella where Nyaya Dharma Satya is there, and based on that, we are also able to realize that's what we're saying, that we will feel meaningful in our lives and in our livelihood. We will also feel accomplished. I think, at least to my own knowledge, I would say that when I'm thinking at this state, or when I'm listening to this kind of discourses, which Nilam Babi mentioned, we were at Monteria village. We were taking the Adyan Bindu of what is the second part. I think the third part. The first part is the Parichya Shivir, and then this is the book is part of that Parichya Shivir. But then the second is the Adhyan Bindu, like what we are supposed to do as a Jeevan. We are as a Jeevan. So what is that Jeevan? What is its full potential? What we are lacking? All those things are discussed in that. And yeah, it was a great revelation, I would say. All the time we are also getting this sort of revelation, and we are also able to expand our grasp of the whole of what is the meaning of our livelihoods and our life, and all those kind of things are being answered in this kind of things. It is all about ourselves, where we are lacking, not about somebody else doing the work and somebody else fixing the problems. It is just between us and our own level of clarity. So yeah, a lot of questions were raised in during that time, that okay, uh, what needs to be done next as an action, what needs to be done next. That was the utsaha in the auditorium, that what do we do next? Do we get a collection of people like this and start living like this that there was excitement of sorts was there. But Sombai also rightfully put it, and he put his foot down, that we have to do the adhyan, and everything else just flowers after that. So adhyan is very important. Adhyan is the the prime of all that is going to be beneficial to, be it the earth, be it the human source order, be it the animal order. It is just your understanding being clarified, being to that top notch, or if that is the right word even, but basically clarification of what is about, what is existence all about. That is all we need to do, we'll be doing, and that's possible through adhyayana, that's possible through education. And I think we can put adhyan as education. Would it be the right way to translate? Maybe in the darshan it would be some other word we can use in English, but I think education, educating the self about consciousness. I think the words were written here.
Sorry,
Conscious development.
I missed something. You said, what is the word for Adyan, you said?
Yeah, yeah.
It's a
Maybe we can
learning
use
process
huh,
for awakening.
for conscious development and value education. Maybe we can say that.
Yeah.
है ना? Yeah, Adyan is conscious development and value education. Maybe we can put it at that
Actually,
point.
Adyan is a process of
Hmm.
learning.
Hmm.
Yes.
Right. Okay. बढ़िया. Hmm. So I'll just read ahead. Another benefit of this proposal is that it has no place for priesthood or power centric rule. Uh, I think by this sentence, it means there is no place for people who are in sort of lineage of priesthoodness. And then power centric means कोई भी पद की वजह से कोई भी तरह का rule नहीं है. It means it's not power centric. It's not driven by sort of one who has power has extra vote or something like that, right? So that's very important here. Every in other sense, what this line means is every human is equal. If I'm not taking it too boldly, uh, this proposal treats every human being as a person who is equal, right? It is also free from the idea that only one person will liberate everyone. So again, one God, one Ishwar, one Rama, one prophet, and nothing like that here. It is also free from this idea that one person will liberate everyone. Each individual can liberate themselves from delusion by attaining understanding. So again, what great words of hope that we can. When it says each individual, it means each individual that is able to read this darshan, right? So because it says each individual, it means everyone who is able to read, take account of this darshan, work on it wholeheartedly. And I think what it means is that everybody can attain liberation, right, from delusion and by attaining understanding. The notion that the liberation of one person would lead to the liberation of the whole world has proven insufficient, as we have seen. In this proposal, whoever understands it will become liberated. The Holy Scriptures offer numerous assurances, yet not a single person on earth has emerged as evidence of their teachings. What then is the solution for us? Anything that that cannot be integrated into tradition is of no value. So this is very important. This means that what Babaji is saying here is that there is been not no evidence of a tradition of the great people who have, or sort of so-called great people of the past. We are not going to shame anyone here, but it's this is what it means, that since there is no tradition of them, they cannot be said to be evidence of their teachings, right? So this is a very good eye-opening thing, that since there is no tradition of them, we should understand that their teachings have not been successful. And in that sense, what then of the ordinary human being who is just trying to get their uh, their way across through life and trying to understand what is the meaning of life? If they don't find the right pada or the right priesthood or the right prophet or anything like that, then they are doomed to keep on reincarnate. In fact, they are almost told or cursed that you are going to be keep on reincarnating in earth for so many times. That's what most of the scriptures have said, that if you don't do this, then you'll be going to hell and all these kind of things. So here it's saying completely opposite, that since everybody is whoever understands is will be liberated, the holy scriptures offer numerous assurances, yet none of us, not single person on earth has emerged as evidence for their teachings. So this is again proving a point that since there is no evidence of them in the tradition, then what is about the then that listen to this last line: anything that cannot be integrated into tradition is of no value. So here Babaji is deducing this line by the fact that how everything is arranged in nature, be it the atomic sorry, the material world, where the value is intrinsically evidence through its tradition, which is matter keeps on existing, that's its intrinsic value. Plants keep on multiplying, that's its intrinsic value through the seeds or through the whatever means. And the animal kingdom keeps on surviving, that's what its intrinsic nature is, that's its intrinsic value. uh, and humans are supposed to have a tradition of knowledge. So this is not evidence, and that's why Babaji has completely failed the theory that all these things are going to be of any use or for any value in that sense. And that is clarified in this sentence. Anything that cannot be integrated into tradition is of no value. But yeah, so it's not like Babaji is saying and we have to listen to it. It's like we have to just open our eyes. Yeah, I mean, look, plants have done that. Their value is, I mean, a mango tree has its value because it is able to multiply to date, right? And animals have their value because they're able to maintain their genes and they're able to survive. So this again is it's just a deduction. I think it's just a discovery, and it's not an invention rather. So this sentence is just the same for the human order, that we are supposed to have a tradition of knowledge, and that's not happened till date. So then what is the point of that sort of tradition, right? But yeah, so we have some 3 minutes. Maybe if I start this paragraph, you can read one more paragraph. Unless otherwise we have some sort of questions or query, maybe we can just read one more paragraph. Not many of us have joined today. I think they were not aware that I'll start the class so soon. So, anyways, let's just read one more paragraph. The tradition can only be successful when it is based on understanding and established through education. The tradition of understanding can be established through education, so actually, I think we'll have to take this in the next session. This is very important. A lot of lines have very meaningful. We will take one or two lines. So, tradition is successful if it's based on understanding, again, with knowledge, what we said, and that knowledge has to impart humaneness, right? Where humans live with humaneness. Otherwise, what is the point of that knowledge if it's not humane, if it's not all encompassing of all the orders, right? So that's very important. The tradition of understanding can be established through education. Again, education comes about here. And the tradition of right living comes about by way of family, society, and systems. So, um, maybe we can say that the education of this humaneness and of this understanding of humans will lead to the right living in the family, society, and systems. I think this is safe to say that is education is the key here to have a system in place, in a society in place, and a family in place, which is living in orderliness, right? So this is what it means. I think it's very crucial to have this education again, which is then playing the whole part to towards the whole system being in orderliness. I too discovered my way of living on the basis of understanding. So he is saying that he also started discovering that there is, uh, like when he was living with this understanding, he was living in resolution and orderliness. So living based on understanding must entail resolution and orderliness. So again, this again is very clear to us that once we are resolved, then we will be also in orderliness, and we are part of the whole existence, and we are also adding to it in our form and ways. And again, that comes through education. But yeah, so great realization again, a lot of things and key points that we had discussed. So yeah, I just read Praful's message that he's having some network issue. Anyways, great. So we will continue from tomorrow onwards, and I believe we covered a lot today nicely, and we were just reminded of a lot of things. Again, education being the point today, we discussed how important it is for understanding to be prime, and then that leads to harmony and orderliness in the family, that leads to harmony and order in the society, and the systems in sorts. The whole system, in effect, works in orderliness with each other and with everything else. So, great. Let's meet tomorrow again at the same time. Wish you all a good night. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Bye.